All right, in this tutorial, we're going to talk about greatest common factor. And you're going to find the greatest common factor of a pair of numbers or even a list if you need more than two. You're going to find the biggest number. It's another word for greatest, the biggest number. That can be divided into all of the given numbers in your list. So, for example, if we're needing to find the greatest common factor or the GCF of 12 and 18, what we're going to do is create factor trees for both of those numbers. So we start with 12. Two factors of 12 are 4 and 3. 3 is a prime number, so I'm going to circle it. Factors of 4 are 2 and 2. So the prime factorization of 12 is 2, 2, and 3. I'm not going to write it in form of exponents because we're going to need to look at common ones later, and it's easier to see if they're all listed out. Then from 18, factors of 18 are 3 and 6. Circle the 3 because it's prime, and then factors of 6 are 2 and 3. So we're going to circle those numbers. Now, all the prime factors of 18 are 2, 3, and 3. So now what we're going to do to find the greatest common factors looking at this list of all of the prime factors is we're going to find which number or numbers that are in common in both lists. Well, 12 has a 2 and 18 has a 2. So those are in common. 12 has a 3 and 18 also has a 3. This 2 and this 3 are not in common. There can be multiple of each one, but when you look at your GCF of each number, it has to be 1 to 1. Each number is listed once. So the greatest common factor between 12 and 18 is 2 times 3, which is 6. Okay, if you get multiple numbers listed out, you're going to multiply them back together to get your final answer. Let's look at 20 and 25. Factors of 20 are 4 and 5. Factors of 4 are 2 and 2, and those are all prime. So our 20 is 2, 2, and 5. Now let's look at the 25. Those factors are 5 and 5. They are both prime. Okay, so when looking at our common factors listed in these primes, the only thing in common is one pair of 5s. So the GCF is just 5. All right, now last one, let's look at 5 and 12. Factors of 5, since this number itself is already prime, we figured it out, is just 1 and 5. And 1 doesn't help reduce anything in terms of a factor tree, so the only factor of 5 is 5. 12, we've done already, is 4 and 3. Factors of 4 are 2 and 2. 2, 2, 3. Now, are there any of these in common? Nope, there is not. So, depending on your format, some testing centers will tell you that the GCF of these two numbers is 1, because that's the only number in common between both of those, or it would be no GCF, because remember, 1 doesn't help reduce any of these numbers at all. So, find factor trees, list all the prime factors of all of those, and anything in common, circle it, multiply those answers together, and that's your GCF of the pair.